Hi, I'm Bethany. This is part 3 of our video series on how to find, prepare for, and hopefully get a job using AI tools to help you along the way. In part 1, I showed you how to find a job on LinkedIn, down your LinkedIn profile, and turn it into an AI-generated resume very quickly, tailored to the job you want. In part 2, we covered how to get inside the head of a recruiter and build yourself an interview rubric and framework, and then a custom GPT to actually help you mock interview for that job. In part 3 today, I'm going to show you how to create another GPT to help you better answer questions for that job. As a reminder, I'll start by just showing everyone what job I've applied for in this fictional world. I've applied for a job, founder in residence at AI Fund. This was a job we found on LinkedIn, and it has been helping a VC fund do a lot of work with their founders to launch products and build business cases and early prototypes. The early parts of this, I pulled in a document, the job description, the bio and the resume that we built with the help of AI. And then last time we built this really great interview rubric based on the core competencies for the job. And then ultimately a bot in ChatGPT that helps me prepare for that interview. This bot itself is trained on that job description and includes strategic questions to help evaluate me against all of the things that are important in that job. Since we last met, I actually went through the entire interview process. It took me longer than I thought, about half an hour. So it was actually a pretty well-trained bot. I will spare you the details of that, but I have the entire log of this interview in this instance right here. What I did to do this interview was I opened my bot on my phone instance of ChatGPT and just voice dictated the responses. So it really did feel like a real interview, mock interview environment. You can see that I was answering questions and the AI was then asking me to elaborate on some of my answers. So I ended up getting pretty detailed into a lot of my work experiences. I was practicing telling stories, but I was noticing that I was getting kind of long-winded in certain parts. I hadn't really fully prepared for this job, and that's why I need to practice. So at the end, just like we trained it to do, I was evaluated on my performance in the interview. So you can see in some of these areas, I got a 5 out of 5. In a couple areas, I got a 4 out of 5. And in cultural fit and ownership, I got a 3 out of 5. So what I did then was think, okay, what are the things that I would actually want to prepare for in a real interview? And I asked for 3 things that I, as a candidate, could do to improve for a better score. Here's what it gave me. I could get better at sharing systematic user feedback collection. They asked me about my experience in product development. I gave a couple of pretty light examples there, but it's seeming I could kind of come in with a little bit more of a structured process. Definitely fair feedback. I could probably answer that question better. Second was quantification of marketing outcomes. I told a story about working as a VP of a business development unit in a job, but I wasn't really primed to think about some of the specific details there. So that's some feedback. Also a good note. The third one was cultural alignment. I was just sort of describing my ideal version of a job, but I wasn't really doing the work to align my ideal values against what that company is doing. So I should be doing a little bit more research there. Now I know my areas for growth based on the interview framework that we evaluated. So we're going to now build an interview framework called STAR Technique and turn that into a custom bot. STAR Technique is my favorite way to prepare for an interview. It is a behavioral interviewing question mode. If you are unfamiliar with it, that's fine. Just ask AI to tell you. So what is STAR Technique? This is my favorite way to just use AI, is to have the AI tell you about what you need to know. You'll get a different answer or different version of this answer based on who you are and what ChatGPT knows about you. But here it's really just describing for me what STAR Technique is. It's a structured way to answer behavioral interview questions, breaking it into 4 tasks like an acronym: situation, task, action, and result. When you are triggered in an interview with questions like, tell me about a time when, or describe a situation where, that is your cue and your prompt to answer in STAR Technique. So before I go for a job interview, I try to preempt with a couple of stories that I can be ready to tell so that I'm ready to go and not just fumbling. It's giving some examples of what that could look like. Fantastic. The next thing we're going to do is turn this into a bot that you can practice STAR technique. So once again, we're going to ask the AI to train the AI. Help me generate a prompt to train a custom GPT that will help me turn any story I tell into the STAR technique framework. Okay, now I could make this more detailed, I could make this more specific, but we're just gonna get you to that MVP as quick as possible. So here is the prompt. You are a writing assistant specializing in behavioral storytelling. It's telling you what STAR technique is, it's clarifying details, and then it's showing a sample input, the thing that I would be giving to the AI, and a sample output, which is putting that input into STAR technique. So let's try it out. I'm gonna copy this all. This is all the prompt. In this new tab over here, I'm going to come in and just make a new GPT. Don't know why it's saying inaccessible. Let's try this again. Great. I'm gonna create a new GPT. We're gonna call this STAR technique interview interview bot. Okay, I'm gonna paste in the prompt. This is the thing we just built together. Let's see if DALL-E will give us a fun photo here, and I'm just gonna remind myself what this is. This is a custom GPT to turn any career story I tell into STAR technique. The bot we made last time was really customized and bespoke to the one job that we were looking for, right? It was a specific resume tailored or job description tailored bot for a specific role with that rubric. This one is a very multifaceted bot. You can use it for any job you're applying for. So I'm just going to make it available to just me for right now, but just know this is one of those, if you're applying for many jobs, you could use this a lot. Now we've got the interview bot. So let's see how it works. I'm going to pull up ChatGPT on my phone. I'm going to open up this new GPT that we just made together, the STAR technique interview bot. And I'm going to practice telling a story in one of the ways where I was weakest in my last job interview. So to come back to these, there were three things. Let's see, I'm going to pull up that older thread here. There were three things that it said I could do better. Getting better at describing my systematic user feedback collection process, quantification of marketing outcomes, or cultural alignment. So let's practice telling a story about a time when I systematically collected user feedback. Okay, and I'm going to do that by voice dictating it into here. When I worked at Stack Overflow on the marketing team, I was asked to help understand the different buyer personas for our product. We were selling a product for job seekers called Careers 2.0 that helped hiring managers hire software developers. We didn't really have a clear understanding of who we were selling for, so I conducted a jobs to be done interview framework. I traveled around to visit a lot of our key customers, and I met with recruiters and hiring managers, CTOs, engineering leaders, CEOs, and really understood why they started to use our products and services. Based on that information, I created buyer personas in a really structured format and then trained the sales and marketing and product teams on how to think about what the motivations were for each of those buyer personas. This ultimately helped us have a more structured flow of selling and product development where we were really targeting different features for these different user sets. Okay. I was a little bit long-winded. I haven't told that story in a really long time. It was a little bit rambly. But what it did was it took the information and it's going to just dictate it to me and transcribe it. So I'm going to refresh here. We're going to see this new chat on the left. And this is the story that I just told when I worked at Stack Overflow on the marketing team, blah, 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 blah. And now here's the story reformatted into STAR technique. At Stack Overflow, we faced a challenge with our product. That's good. You always want to start with the challenge. I did not do that. We lacked understanding, really like hyping it up. I was asked to help identify and define these key buyer personas. The action that I did was apply this jobs to be done framework, and the result was the teams are better equipped. This is still really good, but I want it to be even more brief for my interview. So make this shorter, just 1 sentence per answer area. Let's see how this works. Here we go. Now this is a much more structured story. At Stack Overflow, our Careers 2.0 product lacked clarity on its target buyer personas, which hindered effective sales and marketing efforts. I was asked to help identify and define the primary buyer personas. So using the Jobs to be Done framework, I conducted interviews with key customer segments and created structured personas. This ultimately improved our sales and marketing focus, product features, and better alignment across the teams. You can do this with any story that you want to tell. And I think it's a really fun way to start to prepare for those interviews. What you could then do is practice with these stories in that other bot so that you're able to practice in those mock interviews. And over time, hopefully you'll be able to go in much more prepared for any job interview that you want, all thanks to AI. Now, a caveat here. While AI can help you get really good at preparing for a job and preparing your resume, you do actually still need to show up and be able to do the work. So if you feel like you're using AI to just demonstrate something that isn't actually true, or you're pushing the limits, that's going to come across really quickly in the interview too. So this is really helpful to help you clarify the work that you're already doing and just say it in a better way. But I am not encouraging you to use this to make up things about yourself just for the sake of it. So that is my warning here. But hopefully this is a helpful interview prep framework for any job that you're looking for in under 30 minutes. Good luck.